Hello and welcome back to The Lion's Den. I'm your host Matt, as always, and today we are returning with a slightly more normal episode than usual. I had my rant about Skyward Sword last week, and I think it's time we start talking about the wonderful world of stupid things that happen in my life, because that's what you signed up for, isn't that right? So let's begin with a slight fascination I've had recently of living out of vehicles. So I stumbled upon a couple videos of these Japanese vans that are tiny, absolutely tiny, but they are big enough that you can kind of fit like a single-sized bed in there and a little kitchen with a sink and some storage and maybe a power generator for some electricity with some sockets. And it's fascinating because I love the concept of having a little space just mobile that you can kind of jump in and you can drive off somewhere, maybe pick up some food from a convenience store and just kind of live in it. It seems really interesting. And I like the fact that you can sleep in it as well. So the way they do it is they kind of rearrange the seating into a platform for a bed, and then they put, I think they're fold-up futons, which look really interesting and quite space efficient. And assuming that they're comfortable would be quite useful. And I've also seen people do like stealth campers where they'll make it so that they can fully live within a van, a traditional style van. This was an American person doing it, but they make it so that from the outside you can't tell what's going on. So you'd never assume, or you'd never think to assume that there's actually somebody living in there. Which I don't know the legality of that, because they would say, oh, I can leave my car parked in, I don't know, a supermarket parking lot or a restaurant car park overnight, and just nobody would care. It's just a van, parked somewhere they really shouldn't be for the night, but interesting either way. So, I mean, I have done this a couple times where I'll sit in the back of my car because it's just wildly, bizarrely not comfortable, but comforting, I suppose. It's kind of the concept that cats love sitting in boxes or hiding in really tight, weird, enclosed spaces. It's just that kind of comforting feeling. And for some reason, sitting in the back of my little Nissan Micra is just oddly enjoyable. Maybe one of these days I'll have to. Oh, I said this. I said I would maybe one day in summer when it was hot, I'd like buy a McFlurry or something and go and sit in the back of my car somewhere. There's a river semi-close that sitting next to is really nice. I think I recorded an episode there once. That was funny. That's the one where I ended up like, oh my god, there are ducks or something, because it was just funny. Anyway, I am a self-taught artist. That's a small little tidbit for you. And over the years, I kind of upgraded my art supplies. So I started out like most people do with a sketchbook and a pencil. I then got some graphite pencils of different, what would you call it, like intensities, from sort of really soft light graphite to really thick, heavy, really dark stuff. And then I moved on to what's called a pad tablet. So graphics tablets come in two flavors. They come in pad tablets or monitor tablets. Pad tablets essentially are just a surface that is sensitive to the stylus that it comes with, and it acts as a mouse input for your computer, and it has pressure sensitivity, which there are tons of applications that take advantage of pressure sensitivity. So it's designed to kind of simulate if you had a physical medium like a pencil that would change how dark it is depending on how hard you press. And then I eventually saved up and upgraded to a monitor tablet. So this does the same thing. It replicates a mouse input for your computer, but it also has a display. And the idea being that the display is the area that is sensitive to the stylus. So it's one-to-one. It's like drawing on the screen of your computer. Well, that's exactly what it is. And for ages, I had always seen it set up at like a, 40-degree angle, or maybe 45-degree angle. That's what I tend to see it sort of set up for when I was watching videos of other people. So that's just what I did, even though there are so many different angles that this device can be set up to. And only recently did I decide, you know what, I find it really comfortable when I have a sketch pad just flat on a table and I just draw on that. So I thought, why not put the monitor tablet as low as it will possibly go? That's what I did. And honestly, it's the best thing I've ever done. It's so much better. It's so much more natural to have it at an almost flat angle. I'd say it's probably between 5 and 10 degrees in terms of the angle that it's set at. But it's much, much more comfortable, and it's much more kind of accurate into what I prefer to do in terms of how I want to draw. And honestly, I've been enjoying drawing on it much more than I would have if it was still at the angle I had it set to. So that's just kind of a little tidbit. If you're in the same scenario, try changing up your setup. I kind of complied with having it at this really steep angle for so long, and had I not, it probably would have been much better and I might have progressed a bit further, but hey ho, you live and learn. So, some of you might be aware that the newest Pokemon game came out a couple of weeks ago called Pokemon Unite, and I honestly at first was like, oh, just another Pokemon game, not really interested, because personally, the mainline Pokemon games anyway, I've not enjoyed. I played part of Diamond and Pearl, that series, ages ago when I was a kid, and just really didn't enjoy it. I'm not a turn-based battle kind of person. I didn't like the strategy of having to figure out what's the best move at the right scenario and what's the matchup types, because outside of the basic of grass and water and fire, it then gets confusing with like airy and dragon and ground. It just gets weird. So yeah, I never really enjoyed it. I like Pokemon as a concept. I like the creatures in it. But this one came out, and I was looking into it, and people were like, oh yeah, it's very different, it works differently to standard Pokemon games. And I thought, I'll give it a shot. It's completely free, although it's freemium, so you can pay to win if you want, or you can do what everybody else does, which is just grind for like maybe a week or two and then gives up on it. So I decided to jump in, and honestly, I'm really enjoying it. I think it's quite fun. It's just bizarre, because in my first week of playing, I did absolutely no research on it. I just kind of jumped in blind and played the game. And you either have one of two experiences. You either go in and you just steamroll everyone for some reason. And generally that's because the other team will be full of people that have just picked up the game today and have absolutely no clue. And you've maybe been playing 2 days, so you have half an idea what you're doing. The alternative is you go in and get steamrolled, because there's somebody on the other team that has been playing a lot longer, has leveled up or paid to get really good equipment, and then they just come in and kind of destroy you. I would find that some people could come in and like kill you in 3 shots, or other times you'd just be left completely alone and you'd just score points for ages. It's very bizarre. But once you move on to ranked matches, you then end up getting paired with people that are kind of your level, and that's much better because it means you end up playing more balanced and more even matches that are more interesting. So people tend to be a bit more cooperative. You're not necessarily getting steamrolled all the time. It's a bit more balanced in terms of you might die, but you might also manage to kill them. So yeah, it's much nicer. And I unknowingly, when you first start the game, it's like, oh, do a tutorial, and it says, here's about 8 different Pokemon. You can pick one as your starting Pokemon. I picked a 10k one straight out of the gate, not realizing it was a 10k Pokemon, so I'm very happy about that one. That was Talonflame, if you wanted to know. Talonflame's quite fun, and I quite like Lucario. I really wanted Lucario, so in the beginning when you get like tons of bonuses with coins, I saved up specifically to buy Lucario, because I knew then getting coins would be really slow going. So that's helpful. And also the 14-day bonus thing, where you log in for the first 14 days and you get stuff, has a couple Pokemon in it. So it's like, I don't have to worry about buying them. And I think the final one is Greninja, so I'm excited for when I can unlock Greninja, because he's cool. But yeah, I like it. I think it's interesting. It's a different shake on the formula. You really have to look it up or try it to understand. It's not something you can quite convey in words. But yeah, if you are a Pokemon fan, you'll probably enjoy it. If you're not a Pokemon fan but you like Pokemon generally, try it, because like me, you might find out that you actually enjoyed it. So yeah, that's my advertising for it. Although the only thing I would say is you can go in blind like I did at the beginning, but possibly later on, or maybe a little bit after, look at some strategy guides, or look up some guides as to how certain things work. Like there's the whole difference between, do you have a normal attack or do you have a special attack Pokemon? Because that then determines what items you can give them and how then buffs and stuff work, which is stupid because the game doesn't explain it to you, but obviously other people have figured it out so that they can explain it to you, which is dumb. But anyway, ranting over. I hope you've all enjoyed listening to my ramblings once again. This is how I'm ending them, apparently. I've just kind of slipped into it, but if I can think of another way to end it, I will. Anyway, I hope you've all enjoyed listening, and I will see you all next week. Bye.